Hello and welcome to Deakin's Virtual Open Day. My name is Reza Kachri and I am the course director for Bachelor of Business Analytics. I am thrilled to have you here today as we explore Bachelor of Business Analytics. We will also be hosting a live question and answer directly after this information session to answer any questions you may have. If you come up with questions during the information session, you can start writing them into the question panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and these will be responded to during the live Q&A session. I highly recommend you joining this Q&A session. Before we start, I want to acknowledge the country. As we gather for this meeting, physically dispersed and virtually constructed, let us take a moment to reflect on the meaning of place, and in doing so, recognize the various traditional lands on which we do our business today. Deakin would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which our university campuses are based. The Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, on whose country our Geelong campuses are located. The Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, on whose country our Bearwood campus is located. And the Peak Wurrung people of the Maor Nation, on whose country our Warrnambool campus is located. I, myself, am located on Wurundjeri country, and on behalf of us all, I pay our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander traditional custodians, elders, and ancestors of all the lands from which you may be joining our gathering today. I express our gratitude for their care of country, which continues to sustain us as it has done for millennia. Education has a long and rich heritage on this continent, which we aim to honor and reflect in the ways we teach and learn. Before we start our session, I want to ask you a question. Why choose Deakin? Deakin is among the top 1% of universities worldwide, according to our ranking 2021. Deakin is the #1 university for student satisfaction in Victoria for 12 consecutive years. It is not just 1 year, 2 years, 12 consecutive years. Deakin is the Victoria's #1 university for teaching quality and also for educational experience. It is the Victoria's #1 university for learning resources. And Deakin Business School is ranked in the top 1% of business schools globally by holding both AACSB and AQUIS accreditation. So these are good reasons to choose Deakin. So in this session, I am going to talk about why study business analytics. I will provide you some information about the Bachelor of Business Analytics course. I will talk about industry partners and course structure. I will tell you about entry requirement and how you can do double degrees. I will talk to various services and pathways available to you. And I will finish my session by talking about how to apply for Bachelor of Business Analytics. So before we do that, I want to talk about big data. You hear this word big data here and there. Is it just another buzzword? I don't think so. The world is awash with data. Think about how many of your everyday activities generate data about yourself and what you do. And we know that big data is getting bigger. IBM estimated that daily we create 2.5 quintillion bytes of data. And these added up to 40 zettabytes of data by 2020. And that's just the beginning. We know that today businesses they are competing in a hyper-competitive environment, and the volume of data is increasing. So we believe that graduates with computational, analytical, and business skills are in high demand in Australia and globally. Think about how much of data is captured by business or government organization. What do they do with it? What could they do with it? What shouldn't they do with it? These are the questions that you may be answered after you finish your course in Bachelor of Business Analytics. The enormous data set that many organizations now own or can access holds potentially great value. How can this value be really realized? Unlike conventional statistics that rely on hypothesis testing based on a pattern or a correlation that might exist in data, big data relies on data mining, using machine learning and deep learning approaches to automatically and iteratively explore data and take value out of these data. So when we say big data, we are talking about 4 different aspects of data. One is the volume. The volume of data in big data is huge. So think about how much data is gathered every day from different sources. And it is not just the volume, it is the velocity. We are capturing the data faster than ever before, and in various types of data that we are collecting. And then it comes the issue of veracity, the quality of data. So think about this example. We have 2 types of data. In general, structured data versus unstructured data. Think about you go to a shopping mall. You pay by your credit card. So an example of structured data can be they record the time you did your shopping, the amount you paid, and something like that. It's structured. However, after you finish your shopping, you may go and put a comment on a Facebook page. That's completely unstructured. And with the use of the techniques that we use in big data, we may be able to extract the value out of this data. So why you should do business analytics at Deakin? Business analytics is, we are the leading course in this state. It is the Victoria's longest running specialized business analytics course. We provide you 7 analytics units, 7 advanced analytics units. And business analytics is one of the highest sought after skills in Australia and internationally. We know that demand exceeds supply for fresh and qualified graduates, and it is a versatile career. With these skills, you can work in different industries: transport, energy, health, manufacturing, among others. And unlike traditional software or hardware engineering courses and workplaces, business analytics is a gender neutral occupation. And we developed this course with the support of our industry partners, F-Force Health, PwC, BP, Origin Energy, among others. So these are good reasons to do business analytics at Deakin. And it gives you a competitive edge over other candidates when you want to find a job. And we teach you different skills, something like decision analytics, predictive analytics, social media analytics, marketing analytics, and you can apply it in different settings. So that's why you choose to do business analytics at Deakin. That's why you should decide to study business analytics at Deakin. So in Bachelor of Business Analytics, we start with data capture, data transformation, then we perform analytics on that data. We take out insight, and this leads to informed decision, data-driven, fact-based decision for companies. Bachelor of Business Analytics consists of 24 credit points that you can finish it in 3-year full-time. 16 out of these 24 credit points are core units, and then you have a chance to pick 8 electives. So about the entry requirements. So as I said, It's a 3-year full-time or part-time equivalent. It is offered on the Bearwood or Cloud Campus. Cloud Campus, I mean online campus. It is offered in trimester 1 and trimester 2. So entry requirement for domestic school leavers. If you are currently studying year 12 in 2022 or completed year 12 in 2020 or 2021 and have not attempted higher education or wet study since, your selection is based on the following. First, prerequisite subject. Unit 3 and 4, a study score of at least 25 in English EAL, English as an additional language, or at least 20 in English other than EAL. And the ATAR of 70 for Bearwood campus enrollment. So, and there is entry requirements for non-school leavers if they are domestic students. So they need to do they need to have done the senior secondary certificate of education with ATAR of at least 50 or equivalent, or a certificate in a related discipline, or a diploma in any discipline, or 50% completion of a diploma in a related discipline, or successful completion of relevant study equivalent to at least 2 Deakin University units at an accredited higher education institute, or other evidence of academic capability judged by equivalent, for example, relevant work or life experience, or a minimum of 55 on the STAT multiple choice. And you can read about all of the detailed information on the university website. All applicants must meet the minimum English language requirement that you can see on the university website. The entry requirement for international students are a bit different. If you are applying as an international student, then the entry requirements are slightly different, which is shown on the screen. However, we are also running a dedicated applying to Deakin session for our international applications, which I would highly recommend attending for further information. You can find the link to this session on the schedule page. So for international students, there is an English entry requirement, IELTS overall score of 6 with no band score less than 6 or equivalent. International 2022 VCA students, they should apply through VTAC. Please refer to VTAC website for prerequisites and entry requirements. All other international students must have completed Australian year 12 or equivalent and meet the admission score relevant to your qualification. Please visit the university website for details. So on the screen, you can see the course structure for Bachelor of Business Analytics. During the year 1, we provide you with the chance to study basic and principal unit, something like MIS 171 Business Analytics, which I am the unit chair. And then during the year 2, we provide you with the chance to study more advanced units. And in year 3, you pick specialized units and more electives alongside some work integrated learning. So you start with basic and principal units, you go through more advanced units, and then more specialized and work integrated learning units and more electives. So that's the course structure for Bachelor of Business Analytics. And then you have a chance to do a double degree, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Business Analytics. So instead of doing 3 years, this takes up to 4 years full-time study or part-time equivalent. For this double degree, you need an ATAR of 81.9 for Bearwood campus. During the time you are doing this double degree, you should complete 16 credit points from the Bachelor of Commerce, and 16 credit points from the Bachelor of Business Analytics. And this will give you huge competitive edge over other candidates when you apply for job. So, then you have a chance to combine business analytics and commerce in different areas, something like management, marketing, human resource, economics, financial planning, finance, accounting, in very different areas. And this would provide you with great opportunity to work in any area that you like. And university has lots of support available for you. Deakin is running a program called Deakin Accelerate. For those of you currently in year 12, Deakin Accelerate is a wonderful opportunity for you to get a head start at university by completing 2 first-year university subjects while you are also completing year 12. Some of the great benefits include you have a chance to choose from over 20 different study areas. You can boost your ATAR. You have a chance to pick to study on campus or online. You earn university credit. It is completely for free. It helps you to more easily transition into university and stand out from the crowd. You can read about the story of students who went through Deakin Accelerate. For example, Jessica said that I can see I have an advantage over my peers. I know how everything works, including online studies, seminars, and the overall processes. Not only do I have a head start in those specs, I also have a head start in my degree. So you can learn more about Deakin Accelerate on the university website. Then there are various pathways for you available to join Deakin. So you can apply to Deakin from school. You can apply to Deakin through the workforce. You can transfer from a related Deakin course. For example, if you're doing Bachelor of Business and you want to change to Bachelor of Business Analytics. Another pathway is if you are studying same course at a different campus, you can change between campuses, move between campuses. You can apply to Deakin from Deakin College if you are doing Diploma of Commerce, for example, and you can apply to Deakin with other TAFE and RTOs. So there are various pathways available to you. Please visit the university website about Pathway Finder. So at Deakin, we have several industry partners. Among them, for example, for our capstone units, we get the help from PwC, BP, World Vision, and Airport Health. There are various softwares and tools that you learn during your studies, something like Microsoft Azure, SAS, RapidMinder, Jupyter Hub, among others. And we work with industry professionals, something like Altis Consulting, Deloitte, Ernst & Young, PwC, Infocentric. And our course is accredited with the Australian Computer Society, ACS. During your study, you have a chance to enroll in work integrated learning, peak between consultancy experience, entrepreneurship experience, internship, or international consultancy experience. For example, consultancy experience is about consultants liaising with external stakeholders to solve real-world business problems. It is usually a 2 to 6 weeks program. Or entrepreneurship experience helps you to develop the necessary critical thinking skills to work within an innovative organizational industry. It helps you to explore and develop ideas for a business venture. And it is again 2 to 6 weeks. In internship, you develop professional experience in a workplace. It is between 80 to 160 hours in duration, and it gives you the opportunity to network with future organization and sample different career paths. So about the graduate outcomes, someone who graduates from Bachelor of Business Analytics can work as a data analyst, system analyst, business analyst, data architect, data scientist, BI development, senior business analyst, data modeler, among many more opportunities that are available out there. So someone may start with data analyst as the entry point, earn between 75 to 115,000, or work as a data scientist when they have more experience and they develop the skills more as a data scientist and earn much more. And these are based on a survey in 2019-2020. So where are our graduates now? We have graduates that work as inventory analysts at Kmart, business intelligence analytics manager at the Department of Premier and Cabinet. We have data analytics specialists at the migration company. We have people working BP, EPFOS, World Vision, among many different large and famous organizations. So when you finish your studies, you can further your studies to do a Master of Business Analytics. You can do Graduate Certificate of Business Analytics. You can do Graduate Certificate of Information System, Master of Information System, and very interestingly, Graduate Certificate of Artificial Intelligence for Business. That's a completely new course and provides you with lots of opportunity for future careers. During your study, you have a chance to travel the world. It was interrupted during the COVID, but now you have a chance to do 1 trimester abroad, get some global experimental learning, and through different pathways that are available to you during your studies. So that's just an example. We had one student who completed the Bachelor of Information System and Commerce between 2015 and 2019. The person did a freelancing hub internship with Wildlife Victoria in 2018. Also another internship in 2018 with Sebastian Property Services as a business analytics. The student went through Deakin Abroad internship in 2019, worked as a post-study employment at Deloitte as a digital analyst, and currently working at Deloitte as a consultant. At Deakin, you have a chance to do some of your studies or all of your studies online. Unlike some other universities that, when COVID hit, they started to go online, but not at Deakin. Digital is in our DNA with 40 years of distance and online training experience. So we believe that we have one of the best study online environment that you can easily and feel comfortable and supported in your online studies. So there are various support available to you at Deakin. Some of you may find it useful to apply for a scholarship if you're eligible, and you get some financial support at university. Please go through fees and scholarship at the university website to get more information. So during your studies, lots of services are available to you. Something like Deakin Medical Center, something like disability support, counseling available to you, multi-phase chaplains available to students. There are various clubs and societies at university. There is Deakin Active. There is the Students Association, DUSA. During your studies, peer-assisted study sessions are held, and you can benefit from that. There is a program called the Student Helping the Student, SHS, and mentoring program. So lots of services available to students. There is also Deakin Talent for students. It helps to empower students to explore a broad range of career opportunities, help with jobs and internship, help students with their resumes and job applications. They hold some employer networking events, and they hold some workshop, one-on-one career coaching. So some of them are face-to-face, some of them are online, and it is contextualized, embedded, and scaffolded into core learning. So how to apply to university? How to apply for this degree, Bachelor of Business Analytics? Please go to the university website. For school leavers, you need to enroll, you need to apply through the VTAC website, www.vtac.edu.au. Or for non-school leavers, you can apply directly through apply.deakin.edu/direct-applications. If you are joining us as an international student, international study experts are available all day today via web chat by clicking on the icon on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can also watch the following information session to learn more about joining the Deakin community. And you can learn about fees and scholarship for international students, international student life at Deakin, and apply to Deakin as an international student. Thank you for joining us. It's great to see so many of you interested in Bachelor of Business Analytics. If you'd like to learn more, please explore our resources on this page or across the virtual open day website. We also encourage you to stick around for the live Q&A session, which is about to kick off on this same web page. You can send through your question for the session by entering them into the panel on the right-hand side of your screen. If you need to head to another session, you can speak to our experts on web chat at any time throughout the day. You can do this by clicking on the web chat icon on the bottom right-hand side corner of your screen. Our campus open days are finally back this August. Don't miss your chance to get further course and career information in person and tour our campuses. We hope that you have found this session valuable and that you enjoy your virtual open day experience. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and hope to see you soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Business Analytics and Information Systems live question and answer session. I'm Reza Kachri, and I am a lecturer at the Department of Information Systems and Business Analytics. I am also the course director of Bachelor of Business Analytics, and today I'm joined by our presenters. Lubna Alam, who is course director of Master of Information Systems, and Adrian Corsetti, senior officer at Work Integrated Learning. If you would like to ask a question, please type your question into the question and answer section in the question panel on this page. We will do our best to respond to all of your questions during this session. If you have any unanswered question at the end of the session, our team of experts will be available on web chat all day to assist with any questions, including any specific international student related admission or fee queries. Please click on the web chat icon in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen after the session to be connected with our team. So to kick us off, we have our first question that I would like to ask from Lubna. Is Master in Information Systems considered to be the upgraded course to Business Analytics? Does it boost your profile in IT sector?
Thank you, Reza. That's a beautiful question. Before I start, I wanted to say welcome to all the potential students and prospective students who are in this session. It's a great question because I think people who are not expert in these spaces have this question that what is the difference between information systems and business analytics? The difference is that information systems is a generic course. So it is the first generic course in managing information systems and IT systems. And whereas business analytics is a specialized course. So in this specialized course, you actually look at data-driven decision making, and you look at analytics tools, you learn how to do the architecture, you learn about different analytics skills, let's say in marketing, predictive analytics. So it's a very specialized course, and it does upgrade you in that sense that it puts you into the market with the specialized skills that is the skill that is required in the market. If you just think of the last 2 years in COVID-19, right? What we have seen is that every decision was based on data analytics and predictive analytics. Every intervention was based on that. So every business that we look at in the world now would have to be driven by data. So when you do the business analytics course, obviously you are being trained to understand the information architecture, the governance structure, the strategy, and also obviously the techniques and tools, softwares that you can use to do the analytics. So I would say that it's not so much an upgrade language. I would say that if you're looking for a specialized course and you want to graduate with a specialization that you can be employable right away, business analytics is the great course.
Thank you, Lubna, for a great answer. To add to what Lubna is saying, that we believe that if you are the HR manager, analytics give you wings, you can do better. If you are a low student, analytics give you skills that will boost your career. If you are a marketer, analytics is going to be helpful. Very good question and very informative answer. So we have received a question from Penny asking about what kind of practical opportunities exist in the course. So there are two types of opportunities available to students. One is within some of the units that will provide industry experience and working with industry partners. For example, even the unit that I'm running, business analytics, the first year business analytics, we had a chance to team up with the Deakin Melbourne Boomers, the basketball club. We worked together. They designed an assignment. They said that these are the problems that we have. We provided that to students. The students engaged with the industry partner, and they came with some solution, industry solution. And then we picked a few of the best one, provided it to Melbourne Boomers, and at the end they wrote commendation letter to students thanking them, and they even offered some internships. So it is a win-win-win situation, a win for the students working with the industry partners working with the students and with us, and it is a win for us because we believe that at the end of the day, a student learning experience is very important. And we have some of the specific units designed to engage with industry, providing the student the opportunity to work with industry. That I will give mic to Adrian, who can provide more information on that.
Hi everyone. So I'm part of a team who work behind the scenes on sourcing internships for students for academic credit. So if you're choosing to study at Deakin, we can definitely offer you the chance to do internships and even more entry-level internships where you work with groups of students with real business problems, to more advanced internships where you're sort of doing 1 day a week at an organisation, such as iSelect. I know recently we sent a student to ANZ who was working as a consultant in this area and looking at a lot of data and statistics, and as Lubna said, basing a lot of recommendations on that empirical data. So We also have international opportunities for students. So if you're more interested in travel and doing a little bit of study as well, we can offer those study abroad programs as well, which are kicking back off for at the end of this year. So by the time you're enrolled next year, those programs will be available to you. Also, if you're studying online as well, so if you're not necessarily attending campuses, we also take pride that these internships are also offered online. So if you're interstate, if you're traveling over, if you're overseas, we offer these experiences online, because thankfully a lot of our partners and businesses have been able to provide these experiences online to students as well. So thanks.
Thank you, Adrian, for providing this much useful information to students. So we have a question. That's a very interesting question that, that may be a concern of many students who want to apply for the course of Bachelor of Business Analytics. And it is about, being involved with coding, programming skills, mathematical skills, statistical skills, and those sort of skills that as prerequisite for this course. So at this course, we are, we are planning every unit and every opportunity to students to work at their own pace, learn the skills that they need within the units. For example, in my unit again, business analytics, we have lots of supports. We provided the students with pre-recorded material that the students could go through them at their own pace. We had the students who could go through that 1 hour recording within 1 hour, do all of the practices. For some students, if they have limited experience within like Excel in a specific exercise, it may took them a few more hours. But at the end of the day, we are trying to start from scratch, assuming that none of the students have any programming or coding skills, and we teach them. Other than that, we have a great team providing a student. We call them peer-assisted support students. The past team, they are working with the student. They are successful previous students who finish the unit. They sit with the students, ask about their concerns and how to tackle those issues. And we have mathematic mentors at Deakin as well. For many of the units, these mathematic mentors, if you feel that you are not very good with math, they sit with you, they discuss basic concerns, and then help you to come to the level that it is necessary for the unit and for this course. So I can say in one sentence, we do not expect the student to have any coding programming background. A basic mathematical skills is necessary, but if it is limited, your experience is limited, we are providing opportunity to students to work with others and improve their mathematical skills. So great question. So we have another question asking about how do online students find real placement, and what if they already have a full-time job? So that's a very good question that I feel that Adrian can answer very well. So the question is about online real placement, work integrated learning placement, and if the student is full-time.
Terrific. So look, thankfully, a lot of our partners have been able to continue these internships throughout COVID online. So, you don't have to be going into the office, 1 day a week to work with some of these partners, which has been fantastic to for these partners to again get your expertise and experiences. Look, for those who are working full-time, we do appreciate that it may be a little bit difficult to gain that practical experience. One particular program that we can offer to full-time workers is that, you can actually do an internship at your current organization. So for example, you might be working full time, but if the organization says, yeah, look, we're happy for you to do like a secondment or tackle a business problem, for those working full time, that's a really great option to still be working at the organization, but effectively doing an internship at your current workplace where you're learning new things. So that's probably what I'd say to that.
Thank you, Adrian, for the information. So we have another interesting question about studying online versus studying on campus. The experience that, for students, how does it differ? So I am proud to say that within Deakin, online is in our DNA. So we had everything ready for being online. And actually, we have a virtual campus. We call them Cloud Campus. We have many students enrolling in Cloud Campus. That's how we provide opportunity for students to study online whenever, wherever they want. So most of the classes, lectures, we do encourage students to be in the class. We do encourage them to be there and engage with other students. That's a social, sometimes learning is kind of social. You learn from your peers. But if there is a situation that you do not come to campus or you are staying somewhere far from campus, you can join the classes online. And we also provide lecture recording, seminar recording, pre-recorded material to students that they can, learn being online. So that's what we do. I will ask Lubna. She's teaching a few units online. She can provide some insights into it.
Yeah. So absolutely, the online experience will not be any different from on-campus experience. Our units, when we design our units, we design it cloud first. That means that we want to provide the same experience of teaching and learning, whether you're online in cloud campus or in face-to-face environment. So that's one of the principles that we follow. And the other thing I would probably add to what Reza has already said is that we have very vibrant, cloud community. So we have discussion forums. So lots of asynchronous communication can still go on within those platforms. So it's very much possible for students to study online if that is what they prefer. And so it's flexible and it's learn anytime, at your own pace. And every recording, everything is available, and also in bite-sized format as well. So you can keep track of, so the Cloud Deakin site that we have is able to keep track of what you have, what you have heard or what you have learned, and keeps track of every step. So it's quite easy. So as Reza said, online learning is in our DNA, and Deakin is one of the pioneering, university, which was always online.
Thank you, Lubna. That was great. So we have another very interesting question that probably me and Lubna can answer together. It is about a student is asking, will the graduate certificate of business analytics have the same employment opportunity comparing to Bachelor of Business Analytics? So my understanding is, with in today's day and age, the opportunities are limitless. You can do anything with being able to, perform some analytics, extracting insights from data, working with data. It is limitless. But my understanding is, if you do a graduate certificate, you may learn a few more advanced techniques, skills being linked with peers that are in later stages of their studies, and work together and build a profile that can, provide you the opportunities to work in higher paid or higher grade units. Lubna, can you add something to this question?
It's a very good question, but I don't think we have stats to support what you're asking, but I can give you a couple of stats in terms of job employability. So the Digital Pulse report by ACS, Australian Computer Society, has flagged that there's going to be 100,000 more jobs in IT sector in between 2018 and 2025. So huge demand for IT skills, if you like, out there. And in terms of that skill, I can probably give you a couple of statistics in terms of that report. If you look at ICT management and operations, there is about, it's predicted that there's going to be almost 99,000 roles required in 2026. IT technical and professional skills will be 150,000, and the rest of them are also in sales, trades, electronic professions, and so on, logistics support. So if that data sort of gives you some indication, is that business analytics skills is probably in the middle, which is the ICT professional skills. So there is obviously big demand, big surge in demand for IT skills. And interestingly, I've actually attended an advisory board meeting with industry for a different university. Interestingly, in that advisory board, it was highly flagged that the skill that is required is not so much about business analysts, but it's the analytic skills, being able to do data-driven decision making would be the key skills, and skills in AI and upcoming emerging technology would be where there would be a big gap in the industry, and they're desperately looking for people with some knowledge in the analytics space, so they can then train them in the workplace with the right technology. So I guess that's what I can add to what Reza has said.
Thank you, Lubna. Great points, very informative. And I should remind you that we are still have some time to answer a few more questions. If you have any question, please ask now, and we would try to answer to our best of knowledge. I would like, Adrian, a question about internship. Can you provide some information how long internship unit takes and how students can be involved with those units? Thank you.
Terrific. So plenty of flexibility with how long the internships are offered. So for example, we've got more intensive experiences where you might be doing, for example, 2 weeks over the trimester break. That could be abroad, that could be on campus, or we offer more part-time experiences where you sort of can do 1 day a week, and it might last over the trimester. So it might be sort of a 13-week experience just doing 1 day a week. And they're probably around about those are the main ones. We have also some longer internships experiences, for full-time paid work that can count as sometimes extra credit points. They have been available in the past as well. Yeah, and as I sort of mentioned before, in terms of the variety of the experiences, we appreciate that some of you are probably not ready to do 1 day a week at a business. So we've got some real entry level, I guess, internships that we call them, for students who are working in groups with real businesses. So we'll bring in the businesses into the university and you guys will tackle a problem. And then for some of the more advanced programs, we have students doing, going to an external organization, whether that be in the office or also online. So, undertaking that experience online as well. So for some of those more advanced experiences. But look, we also appreciate that, you will need to do a few units before these internship experiences will become available to you. So they're generally available to established to final year students. Yeah, look, I'm incredibly passionate in this area about getting these experiences for students. So yeah, I look forward to getting you that practical experience.
Thank you, Adrian, for the information. So something that's worth noting is, these jobs, that you can find after doing a bachelor degree in business analytics. That's something very high in demand. Students can easily find job most of the time in this area. And I have an interesting question about doing Bachelor of Business Analytics or doing a double degree in Bachelor of Business Analytics, Bachelor of Commerce. So if you are doing Bachelor of Business Analytics, it will take you 3 years to finish. But something that can be very useful for you is doing a double degree, Bachelor of Business Analytics, Bachelor of Commerce. It will take 4 years to complete full-time, but it provides you with some extra skills in other areas that you can benefit, after completing your degree. Other than that, I have a very interesting question that Lubna has hands-on experience on that, directing the course. The question is asking, does early IT experience benefits in Master of Information Systems?
Thank you, Reza. It's again a good question, and I would answer it a bit differently. First of all, as I said earlier, an information system degree is a generic degree. So when you look at the Master of Information Systems degree, there is no expectation that you would need IT experience. So that's the starting point. So to start, and that because you can think of this Master of Information System as a conversion course where we expect that students from different background and work, and students with different, work experience other than IT would come and be able to do a master's and gain a specialized, specialization in that area. But having said that, if you do have some early experience in IT, it does help you to understand what specialization, what you might pick up. That one way. The other way is that if you do have a bit more extensive experience, there is opportunities for RPL, pre-recognition or prior learning, through which you can get some credit towards the master's degree. So in that sense, your master's degree, if you have IT experience, will be shortened, and you can do it probably in a year. But usually a master's degree would be a 1.5 years undertaking. So I hope that answers your question, that there is no expectation that you would have come with IT experience in the master's. But if you do have some, you can get possibly some credit, and also you can decide better what specialization you're looking for through your master's.
Thank you, Lubna. So we are coming to the end of our live question and answer session. So we'll only have time for a few more questions. But I've picked a very good question about our industry partners and our accreditation. So I would say that our degree, Bachelor of Business Analytics, is accredited with the Australian Computer Society, ACS. And we have great industry partners working with us. For our capstone partners, we have PwC, we have BP, we have World Vision, we have Epworth Health. There are lots of tools and software partners that we have. We work with Microsoft, we work with IBM, we work with SAS. We have Microsoft Azure teaching some of the units. We have Jupyter Hub, we have RapidMiner, and lots of experience with Excel at the end. So we have lots of opportunities. We are trying to build this course in a way that you have the opportunity to work with industry in all levels, learning the softwares and tools that they want, learning how to communicate your findings and extract some insights from data, and provide to managers and build a data-driven, fact-based solution to their problems. And also, most importantly, we are accredited with Australian Computer Society. So these are the great things going within this course. So unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Thank you to all of you for joining us today. special thanks to Lubna and Adrian to answering the question. It's really great to see so many of you interested in the degree of Bachelor of Business Analytics and to receive so many good questions. If we have not yet responded to your question again, please join our all-day web chat at the bottom right of your screen, where expert staff are ready to answer your question. If you would like to learn more, you'll also find lots of really useful resources on our Deakin Open Day website that we encourage you to explore. Thanks for your time, and we hope to see you at Deakin soon. If you join, I am going to be one of your first lecturers. Thank you, guys.